Before I was born, when I was well, there's a book named after me, Harry Potter. So sort of almost premonition really of who I would have become. So there's a book I wrote quite a long time ago, last century, and then sort of someone found it. I don't know if it was published that widely. It was just a little book. The what was it called? The School of Magic and Wizardry or something. And later on, I was born Harold Potterman, and I developed Unix, and I did such a good job. I sort of figured out a lot of stuff. Took off to outer space, did all this stuff out there. It's almost like I travelled through time or something, went to the future. It was very strange. Because I come back to Earth and everything was under the control of religion and very dated, like very old fashioned to me. Even modern stuff. We were working in space on building stars, and we were doing stuff like anti-gravity and I can't even describe some of the stuff we were doing. Like I sort of mentioned some of it on my old Facebook and YouTube, and I don't want to give anything away. It's just because I get a bit bored sitting around here waiting to be recognised as some important prince or king or something, which I sort of don't care that much anymore. It's just for everyone's benefit, really. But so yeah, it was a fantastic journey. I went on to the future, and it was like travelling in time to another time. It was like we're in 5000 AD or something. By the time we got to that point, we didn't really have money anymore. Didn't have clothing. We just were naked. This is on another sort of dimensional sphere in another galaxy. From what we'd done, and come a time we had to leave. We'd done what we could out there. There was also much else we could do. We'd sort of got to the end of everything, and I said to him, "Look, this is as much as we can do. Why don't we go back and just enjoy it all and get married and have our families?" And sort of what drew me back to Earth was Mum and Dad sort of struggling, so I came back to them. That drew them back together, and I suppose in a way, me being away probably caused them grief, so it's my fault in a way. So I sort of took on that fault and blame, but I hope they don't blame me forever, because I was just trying to prove the future existed, because you can't really go into the future unless you build it first. Because if there's nothing out there to find, what's the point in going, And at that point, we're at the space age, so we had to go into space to build it, to actually go to find it. So, whereas back in the past, we'd stay on Earth because that was our future, whereas the future now is space. We had to build it first and come back. So when I got back and I was just Evan, it was everything was primitive. I didn't really know how to fit into anything. People were still, obsessed about human bodies, and I'd already walked around naked, and I didn't give a shit about nudity or anything. I didn't care about relationships. I didn't care about getting married, really, or there was no jealousy. There was no like, you're having sex with him, I'm upset because you've had sex with my husband or wife or whatever. None of that in me. Like, it was all gone by the time I'd done everything. And I did everything you could do in this universe I'd done, as a human being. And so I suppose by then I'd come back just to be a demigod, I'd done everything else. My soul had grown to the size of a god, but I was come back with human parents, so I had to come back to being a human being with a demigod sort of soul and spirit, which, because I didn't get married, I had to get to heaven, so I had to superpower. So I didn't find my wife. Somehow something got sabotaged, or maybe I was just too advanced and my wife didn't find me attractive or found me too intimidating or something. Having all that white hair really probably stood out. And, coming back like that, whoops, the power's running out. Hang on, plug my battery in. Yeah, so coming back like that, abruptly having to destroy all our work and come back and just leave sort of, stuff to find out there. We all had to leave. We weren't allowed to stay where we were. We all had to sort of, I don't know how we died. Maybe we were just old and we all sort of died together, or I think maybe something might have happened, might have run out of air, but it was sort of timely. It was sort of like a timely death, to sort of go through, and it's like it wasn't even me though. I just come from nowhere after that. I went back in time, then back forward again. It's like I went right back in time, then back forward again to sort of. Because if I had come from the other direction, I would have kept going, and then sort of when you get to the end of time, and then you come back, you can't just keep going back that direction. You're just like splinter everyone. So I had to come back and then go forward again. So it's a funny old thing, the way it sort of worked. It was like nothing had happened, like I didn't exist anyway by the time I got back from there. And I remember working out in the spacesuits for like, I would say 50 years we're in spacesuits doing all this work and building all this technology for space. To understand it, we had to report back to Earth, I don't think those centers are, I think when we closed the program it all got shut down, and I don't think anyone here knows. It was all hush-hush, I wasn't meant to say anything. But now I've gone to heaven, it doesn't matter, I can disclose stuff, but I don't tell him. There's nothing there to talk about, it's gone, so I'm just the remainder of what it was. It was my team, There was only about, I think, including me, there was 10 of us, so, and it was all my own self, so it was just me doing it. I had another, there was another 290, 291 people on Earth doing stuff, and I was part of the team that was off Earth, whatever you call it. So there was 301 of us all together. There was 10 of us on that space station doing that. The rest were doing entertainment, basically, mostly entertainment, science, invention. That was my whole being, doing all that stuff. So yeah, I think my name was Harold Pottersmouth or something. It sort of came after that book, Harry Potter, I guess. It was sort of the remnants of that kind of dream that was floating behind me, as kind of a turn of the century sort of thing. Like, I was supposed to come back, do Armageddon, which is just basically a third world war. I'll just win on my own, a spiritual battle, which I went and did, won that. People say mental health, but your mind recovers real quick. It's all the spiritual stuff that takes forever. It's real slow. Slow coming around with your spirit growing again, and the mind heals quite rapidly from trauma. Just resets again after a good night's sleep, really. You might be tired and bogged down and really sad and really sore, and then you have a really good night's sleep and you wake up and you feel something go, ooh, in your head, and you're just like, oh. Or you might go, ooh, sort of in your nerves, and your nerves all come back to life, they're all sort of switched off, and you're struggling and you're tired, and then they go bang and you're back to normal. But yeah, the spirit world takes a long time to heal all the wounds and all the trauma relating to relationships and things that have suffered, which I'm pretty much over. I'm just in the wrong environment here. I'm surrounded by the wrong people. I can feel the needles prickling me around this area. You know, a lot of people sort of, I don't know, sending bad thoughts, bad vibes, or hacking me or doing something. So, but yeah, Unix was the big thing I was looking forward to coming back to seeing again, you know, after making all that before I left. And sort of disappointment seeing it turn to Windows, and Apple was alright, but it could have been a lot better, I think. It probably would have, I suppose they did the best they could, you know. I could have probably done maybe a better job if I had been here, but I think it wouldn't have had so much community involvement in troubleshooting and all the other stuff that went into it. I think it would just have been a platform that would have been set and go, you know. None of this updating, none of that sort of stuff, because that's still with me, that desire to do all that now, and I kind of can't be bothered, you know. I've been doing all this off-world stuff so long with a superpower, I just run out of oomph, really. I just want to do something normal. I think I'll try just a day job, you know. Might get me up to speed. In, you know, a community where I'm involved in people's lives more rather than just on my own so much. Like, I have a few good friends here, but I like new people who are coming into my life every day, meeting new people. I'm just walking past them in the street and I'm seeing them around thinking, you know, I want to know these people, but I don't have any leverage, you know, to get to see them or know them or, you know, talk to them even. So there's plenty of nice people around. I just don't really have the chance or the income or the purpose or the, you know, sort of instruction to talk to them, you know. Usually like introduced by someone, or, you know, someone's friend, or, you know, just go out cold every day surrounded by strangers expecting to try and meet someone, which is hard. It's every day is grueling like that, you know, constantly around people you don't know. You try and make a familiar face, but really you're struggling uphill again every time because they sort of don't like you and don't want to spend time with you, but you sort of want to invite them home, and they sort of don't really sort of respond. Yeah, it's funny. It's like being a spaceman, I suppose, coming back to Earth and everyone's moved on, you know. That's what it feels like sometimes. You know, that's alright. Yeah, I just wanted to share a story about the time traveler, or whatever you want to call me. I've sort of gone to the future, come back again to the past, then back to the present. You know, it's sort of well, that Michael J. Fox film, I guess. Back to the Future, sort of Back to the Present. They should have called it, I guess. Would have made more sense. But yeah, they could have called it To the Future, Back to the Present, or something. No, that sounds too corny. Yeah, no, it's just a catchy name, I guess. But yeah, I lived it anyway. But